Hello, Iosif. Nice to meet you. We can't hear you.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, now I would like to present you our next speaker, Iosif Itkin. Iosif is a co-CEO of Exactpro. Exactpro is a specialized firm focused on functional and non-functional testing for market infrastructures. Iosif manages business development and research in the field of high-load trading systems reliability. He's actively involved in delivering strategic software testing initiatives. There are claims that software testing is more art than science. His presentation gives a high-level introduction into software testing research, the academic discipline, papers, and conferences. We are happy to host you at our Testers Day. There will be probably some questions from our audience, which I will address after your presentation. You can share the screen and give a presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi,
hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear and see your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot for the introduction. It is truly a pleasure and an honor to participate in Georgian software testing community celebration of the Software Testing Day on 9th of September. Thanks a lot for the opportunity to speak today. I am going to cover the question of research in software testing. I started my work more than 20 years ago as software developer. Then at some point I moved into performance and load testing. Currently I am managing Exactpro business. Also, I participate in a number of industry and research initiatives. I'm head of LOST, Laboratory of Software Testing at Tomsk Polytechnic University. I'm also co-chair of Fixed Trading Community, global organization for the electronic trading industry. I'm co-chair of MOST working group that stands for monitoring, onboarding, and software testing. I'm also involved in organizing various conferences, including TMPA, tools and methods of program analysis. Today, we celebrate the 12th anniversary of Exactpro. We've incorporated our business, the first entity, on 9th of September 2009, exactly 12 years ago on Software Testers Day. It was just a coincidence, but it's nice that we started doing our work on this particular day. Exactpro is a specialist firm focused on functional and non-functional testing for mission-critical financial market infrastructures. We are headquartered in UK. We have operations in US, Russia, Sri Lanka, Lithuania, and in 2018 we started our office in Georgia. Exactpro currently employ over 650 specialists. We were part of London Stock Exchange Group for 2.5 years. In 2018, we bought back the company, so it is currently managed and owned by the management team, and we remain an independent business providing services to many global exchanges across all continents, from Tokyo to Sao Paulo, from Toronto to Sydney. Exactpro provides processes, platforms, and specialists to 10 of top 20 exchange groups across the globe. Our work is recognized by a number of industry awards, and also there are many press releases with our clients. For example, we worked with Airbus Skytra to implement the NASDAQ-based system, and we help a new members exchange in US. It is the fastest growing equity market in United States. So after 20 years of experience in any area, when you need to talk about something, the first thing that you do is going and Googling it. So I'm using Google Scholar to Google for the term software testing. And these are the top 4 results based on relevance and citation level. Interesting thing here is the words used. So on the first line, first result is a book called The Art of Software Testing. The third one is software testing and craftsman approach. So these are these 2 books that I highly recommend, The Art and The Craft. So what is software testing? Whether it is art, craft, science, or engineering? It's a good question. Different people answer this question differently. The software testing, a craftsman's approach to this question present a very comprehensive, I would say, explanation of the continuum from art to engineering. So it says that context-driven school thinks about software testing as an art because, well, at least it is assumption, because quality is subjective and software testing relies quite a lot on individuals, their judgment, their experience. So software testing is an art. Many software testing vendors claim that their tools introduce true engineering into software testing. Some people think that software testing is a craft. So when it is the mastery of tools, techniques, etc. And some people think that it is more science. So what is the difference between art and science? The art is more subjective, science is more objective. So art delivers information about feelings, science delivers information about facts. What is the difference between craft and engineering? So craft includes quite a lot of individual related things and producing unique objects. And engineering is doing something more repeatable. it is clear that the software testing is all of these things. So it is partly art, partly craft, partly science, and partly engineering. People may argue that on a larger scale, it should move towards more objective and more repeatable side of this scale, so towards science and engineering. What is the difference between science and engineering? So first of all, what is software testing? Software testing is relentless learning, and software testing is information service. It is exploring software with the intent of finding bugs. Software testing is an empirical technical investigation conducted to provide stakeholders with information about the quality of the product or service under test. So software testing helps us to get information from the system. Let's take it into account and consider the next diagram. It was taken from the book Radical Abundance about how nanotechnology will change our lives, but it has more applicability not just to nanotechnology, but to most aspects of human endeavor. So what is the difference between scientific inquiry and engineering design? So when you do something, how to understand whether you're doing science or when you're doing engineering? And the difference is anti-parallel structure of flow of information. In case of scientific inquiry, through scientific method, we are building an abstract model of something. For example, of the system under test. And then we carry out experiments trying to disprove our model, our theory. So for example, in software testing, we have a model of the system under test, how we expect it to work. And then we are actively trying to disprove this model to show that the software operates differently from what we expect from the model. And by getting additional information, we can gradually improve our understanding of the system under test, improve our model. So software testing is getting information. In modern days, the main asset within most of the companies in financial sector, in any other sector, are their technology assets. Warren Buffett once said, never invest into something that you do not understand. And software testing helps understand your technology assets. So through a process similar to scientific inquiry. So software testing is getting information about reality. Engineering is different. Engineering is where we turn our model into something. So when we build something from our model and apply it to the real world. And in our field, engineering is automation in testing. So automation in testing and automated testing is not software testing, because software testing is obtaining information. Automation in testing is building something to support our work. It is like a microscope. So microscope itself is not like biology or microbiology. Microscope is a tool that is used by researchers to do things. So engineering in software testing is test automation, where we take the model of the system under test of our tools and we turn them into something that can be built and can be executed. So it is two anti-parallel processes. One of them produces flow of information from the system under test to the test tools and eventually to software testers and project stakeholders. The other works in the opposite direction. So it is built something to test something. So getting back to where we are on continuum, it would be fair to say that software testing is science and automation in testing, test automation is engineering. Software testing is information service. Another good profession that can be compared with software testing is investigative reporting or journalism, where we collect information and report objective information about what's going on. So as software testing is very close to scientific method, it will benefit every software testing engineer in learning more about software, about scientific method and about research. So what is the best way of learning something is trying something. So I would highly recommend to everyone to try to write a research paper, a peer review research paper, and submit it to the conference or to a journal. There are many conferences. Some of them are more industry or marketing ones. Others are peer review research conferences. And peer review is a very important part of scientific inquiry. When scientists, researchers obtain some results, they submit them for evaluation by a jury of their peers, and only those papers that passed successfully such evaluation are published. This provides additional layer of quality to the research. Of course, everyone knows that science is never settled, so some things that were reviewed and confirmed at some point may appear to be wrong during consequent research. But having published peer-reviewed research papers is always a good thing for your CV. When we get a CV from somebody who has publications, who published papers on software testing, on software development, DevOps, or anything like that in peer-reviewed conferences or journals, it is always a huge plus. And you write the paper once, and then you can add it to your LinkedIn profile or CV and use again, and again. So I do highly recommend trying to do it. Why it is also a good thing when you build test automation framework, why it is a good thing, or not just test automation framework, maybe you're designing some test approach or something like that, why it might be a good thing to submit it for peer review. The reason is that you can check what's going on, what is the state of the art in particular area, and also get feedback from independent people on your approach or test framework. So when you design a bicycle, you can get a feedback whether this bicycle looks like a new invention or it is just you are reinventing the wheel. So it is always a very good idea, even when you're more involved, not in research work, but more in technical work. It is always a good idea to try to publish some research, at least attempt to publish some research. The best way to write something is first to read something, and the best available papers to start are the papers that contain meta research. So we already stated that software testing is the research. Papers on software testing are research on research, and there is also meta research on research. These papers accumulate information from many other papers, and they are very interesting in the sense that they collect quite a lot of information, and they are usually very popular because good survey of the state of the art and good exploration of what other people are doing is a solid foundation to create something unique and create something better comparing to what was available before. So if we'll go back to the Google page, we can see that the second most cited article, and the first article is called Software Testing Research Achievements, Challenges, and Dreams. I highly recommend to have a look. It was written in 2007, but the structure of this work is still relevant today, 14 years later, and this is the reason why many people refer to this particular research paper. So the paper summarizes research in various areas related to software testing and structures it around achievements. What was the main research achievements at that point? What were and remain the challenges in the field of software testing, and dreams, what we can possibly desire and achieve in software testing area. The next research is also very interesting, and I also highly recommend having a look and studying. The test oracle problem is the main problem in software testing. It is how to tell whether results are okay or not okay, whether they require human intervention or not require human intervention. So the Oracle problem is central to software testing, and it is a very good paper that contains, among other themes, a chronological introduction of test Oracle's techniques and concepts. So when you try to build something, it is always a good idea try to have a look and try to stand on the shoulders of the giants, steal from the best. This will give you a deeper perspective on any framework that you are trying to build. On test oracles, so we also have one video on Exactpro YouTube channel dedicated to test oracles. It is from our global exchanges group. I highly recommend to subscribe to Exactpro YouTube channel. There are many other videos, and in particular one related to test oracles. Another research article that I highly recommend to study before, if you want to do some research in software testing, and if you want to better understand the field, it is machine learning testing, survey landscapes and horizons. It is not as widely cited as the previous two papers, but the only reason for that is that it appeared very recently. It was published in 2019, and it is already clear that this survey review of machine learning testing is very relevant. The links on the slide contains some presentations that review this very research. If you are interested in testing machine learning and artificial intelligence testing, please do have a look. It is a very interesting paper. So once you write something, some research, you can check the list of conferences in our field in software testing. There is a wonderful website called testingconferences.org. It is a project based on GitHub. It is possible to submit your conferences through review process, and if it matches the requirements, if the conference is for software testers, it will appear on the website. So we can see right now there is a conference in Lithuania, TestCon, and there are many other conferences. So it is a very, very good source. Yes, thank you. Top 2 conferences. So there are 2 top conferences in research conferences. One is ICST. It is IEEE conference on software testing, validation, and verification. And another one is ISSTA. It is the conference international. It is ICM, 6th of International Systems Testing and Analysis, I think. These are 2 top conferences, one from IEEE, another from ICM. It is very difficult to get your paper published in either of these conferences because peer review process is very strict, and there are many papers submitted every year, and not all of them manage to get through the peer review process. It is possible to find smaller categories, for example, test tools category or tool demo or poster sessions. It might be easier to submit research through one of these categories. For example, our legacy test tool ClearTH was submitted as a test tool demo to ICST in 2019. So these are two top conferences. ICST is closing its call for paper right now for 2022, but the call for paper for ISTA is not available yet, so there is still a chance it will happen in next July. I hope in live version in Korea. Another conference that I personally enjoy very much, it is IEEE International Conference Artificial Intelligence Testing. So it is both artificial intelligence testing, so testing artificial intelligence, and also using artificial intelligence in software testing. This year, couple of weeks ago, there was a third edition of this conference. It is very relevant and it covers very actual and modern topics. The first one was in California, and the next two, second and the third, were online. I hope that the fourth one will be on the west coast. There on Eurostar, thanks a lot for the question. So Eurostar conferences are very good, but they are not research conferences. They are more industry conferences. So in research conference, you need to present, so the paper needs to match several criteria. In particular, it should contain review of the state of the art, and it should also present some novel approach in software testing, and it also should justify why it is a novel approach, how it is different from what is available, etc. Eurostar is very good, but I personally think that these are more industry events, not research conferences. So also IEEE AI testing conferences this year organized for the first time software testing challenge for autonomous driving vehicles. So it was nice and interesting. I believe that next edition of AI testing conference is definitely a thing to look towards too, and think whether you can submit something. There are conferences available for younger researchers. So when you just writing your master's thesis or PhD, or you're just trying to start with something, there are many conferences that are easier. For example, Sarkozy, I'm very fond of Sarkozy. It is spring, summer young researchers colloquium on software engineering, and quite a lot of papers there are related to software testing, to quality assurance. And of course, in 2019, we organized tools and methods of program analysis in Tbilisi. It was a very nice event. This year, it will be in Tomsk. There is still time. You still have time until 6th of October to submit your research. We hope that it will be an interesting research event, and of course the peer review process is still present because results are published in cooperation with ACM6soft, and also they are published in Springer, but it is not as strict as for ICST or ISTTA. Let me reiterate, it is always great to have a peer-reviewed paper published in your LinkedIn profile or in your CV. So it is definitely a thing to consider. Thanks a lot for your time and attention. Please do subscribe to Exactpro updates in various social networks. We have very nice YouTube channel where we publish information about Iosif Itkin, about AI testing, about many other interesting things. I am very proud that we've recently started to publish GeoSTQB information in Georgian language. And in other social networks, we also have quite a lot of interesting things. Thanks a lot, and I am happy to answer questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you, Iosif.
Yes, I can see the first question. Okay. Tomsk is indeed in Russia. What we are trying to do is to address these issues. So accepted papers, it will be possible to present them online. So we are trying to take into account the situation. We hope that some people will manage to get to the conference, others not. But we are organizing two conferences at the end of the year. One is in Tomsk, it is called TMPA, and another one is in Tbilisi, it is called IST, analysis of analysis of images, social networks, and texts. So both conferences will have possibility to present your research online, and we will also have offline sessions. One will be in Tomsk, TMPA, and another will be in Tbilisi, in Tbilisi State University. Thank you.
Iosif, we have one more question. It's second part of the first question. You see it, or can I read it for you?
I can see. It takes more resources to prepare such research papers than conferences like Eurostar. How much time does it take for you to prepare such paper? Good question. So once again, Eurostar is a very prestigious industry conference, and there is quite some. There is not all submissions are accepted, so it takes time to prepare a relevant submission for Eurostar. As for research paper, good research paper, of course, takes more time. It is debatable how much time it usually takes to prepare a good research paper. One of my colleagues in Microsoft Research stated that how they did it in Microsoft, they look at the list of conferences for the next year, and then they write one very good paper for the conference next year. So one paper per year. There are people who do 2 papers per year. Usually there are a couple of months till the deadline, and it's usually enough to produce some research. Maybe it is not sufficient for the conferences like AI testing, ICST, or ISTA, but it should be enough for most of the other conferences.
Thank you. There are no questions anymore. It was very useful information for us. And now I will switch to the next presenter. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good luck.